Hello and welcome to Lynchburg Live. I'm your host, Linda Smith. Before I introduce tonight's guest, I wanted to tell you that this lovely house in the snow behind us is our house. And my husband took this picture and he wanted a little recognition for that, so that is our home. My guest tonight is Kimberly Feldkamp. She's Communications Coordinator for the Presbyterian Homes and Family Services and Family Alliance here in Lynchburg. And Kimberly will be telling us about the organization, the wonderful things they do at the holidays and all through the year, really. Kimberly, welcome to Lynchburg Live.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me.
I'm glad to have you. Can you please tell us a little bit about the Presbyterian Home and Family Services? I may start abbreviating that by calling it PHAs.
That's totally fine. It's kind of a mouthful, okay. Yes. A lot of people don't know everything about the Presbyterian Homes, and it's actually been here in Lynchburg. It was founded in 1903, and at that time it was a children's orphanage. It's off in the Boonsboro area. It's right off of Linden Avenue, and we've changed a lot since 1903, but we still provide a lot of vital services to children. Now we help adults and families in the community. What Presbyterian Homes and Family Services does is we focus on we have residential care, we have group homes. So on our campus here in Lynchburg, we have 2 group homes, and we have a boys' cottage and a girls' cottage, and we help at-risk teens who for some reason might not be able to be in their home, or they have parents who maybe not be able to take care of them, and they can be referred and come stay with us. We also have a group home for adults with intellectual disabilities. So we offer a wide range of care. We also offer a therapeutic after-school program, just a bunch of different stuff to meet a lot of needs here in the community.
That's wonderful. Do you know just the size of the acreage, or do you have a guess as to how big the facility is?
It started when they first started, it was more than 100 and some acres that they had, and we've sold off a little bit of that, but it's still, we still have a lot of acreage out there. I don't know the exact number. I'm going to say, I'm not even going to venture to guess, but we still own a very wide expanse of land out there. It used to go all the way up to Peakland Place, is where one of the first homes were, and there was a bad fire there back in the early 1900s, so when they rebuilt to where we are now on the top of the hill. But all that surrounding land, if you've ever been out there, anyone's ever been out there, that's, all of that belongs to Presbyterian.
It's a large facility.
Mm-hmm. Very pretty out there.
Now, the organization, is it a nationwide or a statewide or just a local organization?
It's actually just a local organization, although we do have, we've branched out and we have adult group homes. We have one in Zuni, Virginia. We also have one in Fredericksburg, Lexington. So there's different ones around the state, but it's locally, it's local here in Lynchburg.
You're a 501c3.
Correct.
And how else is it funded? If you don't want to tell me, that's okay. I'm just curious.
The majority, we are a charity. We're a ministry, right, and the majority of it comes through, donations. We do have some grants, things like that, but the majority of it is through the generosity of others who donate to our cause.
What a difference that makes.
Yes.
It really does. All right, the Presbyterian Home, PHFS,
yes,
recently merged with Family Alliance. Can you tell us about the merger and what has happened since the merger, how that's benefited Lynchburg?
Well, the merger actually took place this summer, July 1st. The 2 organizations merged, and the benefits of that is it's allowed us to reach even more people by working together, and now we offer an even larger continuum of care, because not only do we have that residential care, but we also now offer things like credit counseling, teen parenting classes, resource mothers, healthy families. There's just a wide range of care that we offer, and we merged, as I mentioned, July 1st, and that had actually been in the process. They'd kind of been talking about it a couple years ago. The idea kind of came up, and then this summer it kind of finally happened. And some people are a little confused. The Midtown office, which is right there on Memorial Avenue where the Family Alliance has been for many, many years, it is still open there. That's still where we have our Ways to Work program, and we have our food pantry there. But then some of the other offices are now on our campus out in Lynchburg, like the Child Resource Center and things like that are out there.
That's pretty amazing,
yeah,
the things that you do, and now the more things that you can do because of the merger. You offer services for children, for families, for adults. I just think it's amazing. I hardly know where to start with these questions. All right, tell me about the residential treatment for young people that you offer.
Okay, well, as I mentioned before, we do have cottages on campus. There's a boys' house and a girls' house. It's for children, at-risk teens and kids ages 11 to 17. Usually they come there. Some can stay for a couple months, some stay longer. And what it is they come there and it's around the clock. I mean, they have around the clock care. A lot of them have very normal lives. I mean, they still go to school, they still do volunteer things, they still get to go out and go to the movies, and a lot of them, you know, are working to get to college and things like that. And we just implemented a new model this year called the professional parents. So now we have a mom and dad that actually are in the house to really show them, to help with that family model. What it is it's, you know, right now we have 8 girls in the girls' cottage, and they live there and they've come together, and by having the professional parent model, they get that sense of home and that sense of security that they might not be able to have at their house, because some of their parents just might not be able to take care of them. Some might be incarcerated, some might not be living with their parents, they might be with grandparents or aunts or uncles, and something happens and they just can't stay in the home, so they can come there.
That was going to be my next question, is these kids have homes of their own, but they're in this facility for one reason or another. Parents can't care for them, or do they have delinquency issues?
Some of them do. We do have the Spark House on our campus, which is run out, actually it's not run by Presbyterian Homes, it's more Lynchburg City, and they have more girls there that have the delinquency issues, but that can be some of the issues that they work through with these kids, and some of them might be on medications and things like that, and they have maybe some attachment issues or things like that they're working through, and for some reason or another they cannot still be in the home, so they come to live with us.
I think it's wonderful that you have this available for kids, and that they're not kicked out on the street, or I mean, you know, there could be so many other things happening to them, and here they have this facility, so I think that's wonderful.
And if I can just add this, a lot of people, I think, when they think of group homes or something like that, they think of more like institutions.
Right.
We just did a huge multi-million-dollar renovation on some of these cottages, so they are, I mean, they're great houses for them. People have, you know, there might be 2 or 3 girls that share a bathroom, so everybody has a drawer in the bathroom where they can keep their hair dryer, their curling iron. They have their own bedrooms. They have big kitchens, and now they eat dinner together a lot. Now they have the professional parents. They have a set dinner time. You know, they have welcoming and inviting living rooms. So it's, I mean, it's a great environment for them. It's not, I think, what some people might think of when they think group home.
It's an environment that encourages them to be individuals and not feel like leftovers or castaways.
Exactly.
That's great. Now, you said there's a preschool program.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Okay. A lot of these are like hidden secrets. Sometimes people don't know that we've got all this out on the campus. Our preschool is called Little Wings, and it just opened in 2008. It's an inclusive preschool, and it's a collaborative partnership with Lynchburg City Schools and Randolph College Department of Education. So what it is we have typical and atypical learners that come together. There's small class sizes, there's great student-teacher ratio, and they follow the high scope curriculum. I don't know if a lot of people know what the high scope is. What that is it's kind of a mixture of teacher-led and student-led instruction. So it's kind of a great example is if they're learning one day about the telephone, instead of just using worksheets or explaining what a telephone is, they'll bring in a telephone and allow the kids to touch it, to feel it, to play with it, to know what the telephone is. So it's a really great preschool back there. Right now we are full. We do have a waiting list, but we also it's open to anybody. It doesn't have to be just you know, some PHFS employees have their kids there. It's open to the public, and it is offered. There's a sliding scale fee system, so we don't want to turn anybody away.
I think that's wonderful, and a hands-on environment is particularly good, I think, for these kids. Now, you mentioned a minute ago the at-risk youth, and that I think is Therapeutic after-school program that you have. Could you tell us about that? I'm interested in what kids are at risk.
Okay. The Therapeutic after-school program is something new. We just got licensure for it, and we just started that actually in October. And what that is it's when we say at risk, we're talking about kids who are at risk of being removed from school or at risk of being removed from home. And it can be various reasons, like maybe anger issues. It could be some mental health issues like depression, things like that. And what they do is each weekday, Monday through Friday from 3 to 7, we have staff that can pick up the kids from school. We'll take them home at night, and they come to campus and they work on a variety of activities. There's anger management. There's things to help them with, if they have attachment issues, we offer art therapy, recreational therapy, and there's a staff there, a very dedicated, devoted staff to working with these kids to help them get through their issues, because we want kids to stay in their homes. We want them to stay in school and be with their families and lead a normal life. So we're thinking this is a preventative step, so they don't have to leave home or don't have to leave school. And it's a really great program. We've gotten great response from it so far.
I just think that what you do is incredible, and I don't think that the public is aware of all the things that you offer. Now, your independent living program for young adults, what's involved with that? Well,
a lot of that's for transitional young adults. It's kids who might be from 18, it's for ages 18 to 21, and we actually have two houses on campus. There's a boys one and a girls one, and what it is it's a place where kids, they can live as they're learning to be on their own. They don't need to be in a group home anymore, but they're not quite ready for that next step of independent living. And what it is they can be going to school, and they have a home here, and they're working to go to school, to go to college, or helping them to get those life skills that they need so they will be successful on their own.
And these are intellectually normal kids you're talking about. My next question is, you also have a program for adults with intellectual disabilities. And
there's so much that we do. There's a lot of different services, and we have an adult group home on the Lynchburg campus. And we have men and women that live together. It's a really great house. And what this is, it's a place where they can come, and a lot of them hold jobs, a lot of them volunteer, they're active in the community. We have events, and a lot of them will come out and help with events. A lot of them help with our mailings. What it is a place where they can go and they can have, quote unquote, a normal life, that they might not get if they were living at home with mom or dad. And some of these adults have been with us 12, 13 years, and it also gives their parents a peace of mind. We recently had a father who had a son that's lived there for 12 years, and he just said, he feels good knowing he's at retirement age, and he feels good knowing that his son is well taken care of, and his son is happy where he is. And it's a place where they can go, and sometimes parents, as they age, they're worried about their children and who's going to help take care of them, and we can really help fill that need and be there for them.
So how long can these people stay there? Indefinitely?
When it's with the adults. And that's one of the things, because sometimes the turnover isn't that great. So there is a great need for adult group homes like this, because once adults get in, when you're an adult, you want that permanent place. And for a lot of them, that's what this becomes, and we become their family.
Kimberly, you brought some pictures with us. And Phil, if you'll put the pictures up on the monitor, Kimberly will tell us what they are.
This is an example. This is our campus. The big building in the back is our administrative building, and the 4 people that you see in the front are some of our adult group residents. And they like to get out on campus, especially when the weather's great. We have a swimming pool, we have a basketball court, we have a softball field, we have a great playground. A lot of that's in the background there. And they'll come out and they want to have fun just like everybody else. And we offer a lot of that right there on our campus. So those are some of our adult residents. This is a picture of our turkey trot, which we had on Thanksgiving morning. We had our largest turnout ever this year. It's a 5K race, and this is just a picture of some of the guys that were leading the pack that morning at the turkey trot.
I was going to ask you what a turkey trot is, and you raise money with this.
We do. There's an entry fee, and this is the crowd. As I mentioned, we had our largest crowd ever. We had 1,414 people, and these are just some other examples of everyone that came out. It's on Thanksgiving morning. We have a youth mile too. There's one of the kids that ran in the youth mile.
So people volunteer to come in and run this race and then raise money.
And you can see they even bring their pets. This is that's a mother and daughter that ran the race together. So it's really a great family thing. They come out before the holiday. This here is an example. This is Family Alliance at Thanksgiving. They pack food boxes to give to people. So they can have a Thanksgiving dinner, and that's what this is. This was actually from last year. These are some people who are involved in the Ways to Work program with the Family Alliance, and what that is we help people get reliable transportation so they can continue to go to work, and these are just a couple of people that have completed that program. And then there's just a picture in case people haven't been out to the campus, because there's a lot of people that don't know where it is. That's the admin building. This is an example of one of the cottages. They just went through, as I mentioned before, renovations. They're when you hear cottage, that's not exactly what you think of. I mean, these are very large, very beautiful homes. So that's one of them there. Oh, and back to the turkey trot, as people brought out their pets. That was the little 3-legged dog that came out and ran that day. So really a fun activity. This was from the summer. This is the merger when they made the announcement that the Family Alliance and the Presbyterian Homes and Family Services had merged, and that was this July. This is a picture of an art room in the Therapeutic after-school program. This is where the kids can go in and draw and paint and really use art to help work through some of the issues that they're going through. And then this is our alumni. This is a really neat event that we have. It's every June. We have a homecoming weekend. So kids that have lived at the home and been at the home, they all come back and they'll bring their children or their grandchildren with us. And it's just a great time for fun and fellowship. And it's really great to meet the people, for them to get back with people that they have met while they were there and just share the stories about their experiences. And this is one of the adult workers in our Zuni campus. I mentioned that, the adults with intellectual disabilities. We actually have a peanut shop there, and it's a sheltered workshop. So a lot of the residents work in this peanut shop, and this is one of the guys that is roasting the peanuts.
I was going to ask you, is he deep frying those peanuts,
yes,
or what is he doing to the peanuts? Those are wonderful pictures. You had started telling us a little bit about your fundraisers, and so I'm going to skip ahead and ask you about those. Now, you had the turkey trot, and you also in November had a cut-a-thon.
Yep. The cut-a-thon was a great thing. We had 9 local Paul Mitchell salons that participated in this, and it was on a Sunday afternoon, November 14th, from 1 to 4 p.m. And these salons and stylists donated their time. A lot of them aren't open on Sundays, and what they did is they came out and people could get their hair cut, and all of the proceeds went straight to Presbyterian Homes and the Family Alliance. So it was wonderful.
Did they charge a fee, or was it by donation?
Some of it, Fusion Salon, which is here in Lynchburg, they charged a fee. They knocked $10 off their normal price of haircuts for men and women, and they charged a flat rate for people that came in. And other salons were accepting donations. So some people, got a haircut and gave a $20 donation, and all of that came straight to the.
How wonderful!
Yeah, it was a great thing.
Do you have any idea how many people turned out for that?
One of the salons took appointments, and they had 6 stylists, and everybody, they were booked up. Everyone was booked up throughout the day. We had a pretty good turnout. We raised, I want to say, close to $2,000 from that fundraiser. For the first year, I mean, we were pleased with the turnout.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So this year is the first time you've done
Yes.
this. All right. You also, well, I saw on the news recently about your toy run.
Yep.
And so will you tell us about that? And then we'll get back to some of these other questions.
The toy run, this is the busy time of year for us. There's a lot of events happening right now. The toy run has been around. This was the 24th year for it. And local motorcycle clubs get together. And there's actually a woman, Kim Lucas, who runs Lynchburg Toy Run. It's a nonprofit. And she gets wish lists from our residents, both the children and the adults, as well as the Miller Home and Spark House. And then these bikers will go out and buy the toys on this wish list, and they pack a big truck, and then they have a motorcycle parade through town and deliver and hand out these toys to these kids. And I was there this year for it, and it's just so great to see. I mean, there's these big burly guys and in leather that come out, and it's so heartwarming to see the way they're bringing stuffed animals and these gifts to these kids, and these kids really, it's their Christmas for a lot of them. And for a lot of them, they were really touched to know that there were people out there that cared about them.
I think that's wonderful. Now, the bikers pay for all these gifts?
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, it's amazing what you think that some of them, a lot of them don't know the residents. They get the list and they buy them, what's on the list. And it just makes you realize how great people are.
Do you have any idea with just about how much you bring in a year from donations, like stuff like the cut-a-thon and the toy run, and any idea? You probably don't, because I imagine it's massive.
It's pretty big. I can tell you this: our turkey trot this year brought in about $30,000.
Wonderful.
So
and that's that one.
Yeah. So I mean, there's We do a lot. We do really well with our events because we have great community support.
The Cuttathon brought in around $2,000. I think that's wonderful. I mean, these are such innovative ideas to do something like that. I think that's cool.
And it wouldn't be possible, you know, without people out there being willing to come. And we had a great turnout. 1,400 people came out on Thanksgiving morning to run, and that doesn't even include those that volunteered of their time to help us at that event. So we were so pleased and so thankful.
Now, you've got an event coming up on New Year's Eve.
We do.
If you want to talk about, I don't want to miss talking about that because that's also a fundraiser.
Yes.
And if you'll just tell us about what that is.
It's our Mad Hatter's Ball. We've had it in the past. We did not have one last year, kind of because of the economy. But this year we're coming back, and we actually have 2 events planned. We have one in the city at City View Skytop Lounge down here in downtown Lynchburg, and we also have one at Mariners Landing at Smith Mountain Lake. And the one at City View is going to be $50 per person, and that includes, you know, your ticket into the door, which you get heavy hors d'oeuvres, you get a champagne toast at midnight, there's going to be dancing. And at Mariners Landing, it's $75 per person. You also get heavy hors d'oeuvres, a champagne toast, dancing, and then at Mariners Landing, they're having a fireworks display at midnight.
Wonderful.
And all of it helps to benefit the Presbyterian home. So you can have a great time while helping a great cause.
Are these formal affairs?
They are. They're pretty. I mean, it's not black tie. If you want to, it's encouraged if you'd like to go dressed up. But we figure it's New Year's. You know, they're a little fancy balls, so we're thinking people are going to want to get dressed up and have a good time.
There used to be 2 other events, one for teens, I think a sleepover somewhere. Why did they stop doing that?
Part of it was just it got to be a lot to manage, to have all the different events. Even this year, it's kind of difficult to have. You've got the city and the lake and the tickets and all that. And I think it was just something that they decided, instead of kind of spreading out, we're going to focus on just the ball, the Mad Hatter's Ball.
If anybody wanted to buy a ticket to the Mad Hatter's Ball, will you tell our audience how they could do that?
It's really easy. There's a website you can go to. It's M as in Mad, H as in Hatters, and then ball.com. So mhball.com, and you can go on there and you can buy your tickets in advance online. They'll hold them at will call for you at both locations, and you can choose whether you want to be in the city or at the lake. So you can just go to mhball.com.
Okay. I want to get back and ask you about you have intensive in-home therapy for youth and families. What does that involve? That sounds like something that's pretty heavy.
Well, we have community support, and what they are is staff that we have that are trained and they're licensed, and they go into the homes or the schools. It can be whichever one of those locations, and they work with the children or the families on some of these like anger management issues, stress management, things like that. And they actually go into the home and provide, you know, support, analysis, everything like that.
So they work actually in the home with the youth and the family together, and that's
exactly, because a lot of times, you know, they can work with the youth, but if the youth goes home and they're not getting that support at home, so this thought is, let's go to the family and work with everybody so that we can help everybody succeed in this situation.
That has to be a good approach, you know, because then everybody knows what everybody's problems are. You get them out on the table, and that's good.
Exactly.
Now, our science fiction club had donated time about 10 years ago at Genesis House, and I asked you about Genesis House, and you said that it wasn't, you know, there any longer, but you also said it was because the need was not so great, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, Genesis House, it was a sad day when it closed, and it closed back in the beginning of October, and that was an emergency shelter, 24 hours. Kids could be dropped off at any time, no questions asked, and they could stay up to 90 days. But there has been a push from the state to get away from group home. They think a lot of kids need to be with families in foster care and things like that. So the referrals and the things weren't quite as great for Genesis House as it had been. We do have a new program that's just getting up and started. It's called Therapeutic Foster Care, and that's actually where families are screened, and it's foster care, but what this is it has support. So there's people that go in and help the families with problems, and they're always on call. And the hope is to get families, the therapeutic foster families, to help fill that need that's left behind by Genesis House. So if there is an emergency situation, we'll have some of these families that can help take in kids in emergency situations.
And what are you using the building for now?
That's actually where the new group home is.
Okay.
So that building, I don't know if anyone's ever, I don't know if you've ever been out there.
Building.
It's a very big house with a deck on the back.
Right.
That's actually, the adult group home has moved up there.
That's great. You mentioned the Family Alliance Food Pantry. and you also said where it was, but would you tell us again where it is and how that's run?
Yeah, it's the Family Alliance Food Pantry is actually in the Midtown office, which is right off Memorial Avenue, and it helps. There's a lot of programs that we have at the Family Alliance there at Midtown. It's like credit counseling and ways to work. And the food pantry can help a lot of these people who are living paycheck to paycheck. And what they can do is go into that food pantry and know that if they have to choose between making their car payment or the rent and they can't afford the groceries for their family, there's that food pantry that is there and it's available for them.
That's wonderful. I mean, it just sounds like you've got all the bases covered. And I think that, for an organization to do this much stuff, is pretty incredible.
There is a lot of stuff that we do, and there's a lot of people that are involved, and we couldn't do a lot of the stuff we do without the help of our volunteers and the donations and the community support. But I think there's a lot of programs that the community might not even be aware that we have, and if they need help, we might have something that can help them with it.
I think that's why I wanted to bring you on this show, because I had no idea what you did. And I think it's really good for the public to know that this is there and you have this facility. Now, if anybody's interested in making a monetary donation, what's the best way to do that?
They can do it on our website is probably the easiest way to go there. Our website is phfs.org, and there's a giving button if you go on our homepage, and you can click on that and you can make a donation, and anything helps, and we are very appreciative.
Now, if anyone is interested in becoming a volunteer with your organization, how would they go about doing that?
They can also go to our website, or you can email events@phfs.org, and a lot of times our events person will help coordinate the volunteers, because we're always looking for people that can help out, and that's where we need a lot of volunteers, is when we have special events like the Turkey Trot or the Cut-a-thon, things like that. So if anybody is interested in helping out, just visit our website, because we would definitely love to have the extra set of hands.
What about career opportunities with your organization?
There are a wide range of opportunities there. It just kind of depends on what your need might be. I mean, if you're interested in teaching, we have the preschool. We also have like the Therapeutic after-school program where you can work with kids. There are some licensure things that and training, and there are some extensive training, but we also have people who can be youth counselors in the group homes on the weekends, or relief workers, so you might not be able to have a set schedule, but if someone needs to take vacation, you could be a relief worker and help work in one of the cottages or things like that. So there's a lot of opportunities, and a lot of those are listed on the website as well.
I think that's wonderful. Kimberly, we have about a minute.
Okay.
I do want to thank you for coming and telling the public what facilities are available through this service of PHFS Family Alliance.
Well, thank you so much for having us on. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. You weren't even aware of it, and there are a lot of things that are out there that we offer, and I think the community needs to know that these resources are right in their backyard.
I think so too. I learned so much just researching this program, so I thank you.
Well, thanks for having me.
I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. Aaron Smith with Boys and Girls Club of America will be my guest on my next show. And he will be discussing a community outreach program on gang prevention. Have a wonderful evening and a very Merry Christmas. Good night.